Your mind feels like a restless sea. The waves rise without warning, thoughts colliding like storm clouds, each demanding your attention at the same time. Your chest tightens, your breathing grows shallow, and it feels as though calm is something reserved for someone else's life. Yet within you, hidden beneath the noise, lies a switch you've forgotten you can press. The moment you reach for it, the chaos softens. The storm doesn't vanish, but it bends around you. The center becomes still, and you realize the stillness was never outside. It was always inside. That is where your journey begins. You live in an age that amplifies storms. Notifications buzz, deadlines crowd, people's opinions tumble over one another, and even when you try to rest, your mind replays unfinished conversations or imagined disasters. It feels natural to try controlling it all: the external noise, the timing of events, the reactions of others. Yet the more you fight, the more the storm rises. The paradox is clear. You chase control in order to feel calm, but your chasing creates the very tension you wish to escape. Pause here. Imagine yourself standing in the eye of a hurricane. Around you, winds scream at impossible speeds. Debris flies in circles. But at the center, where you stand, there is quiet. You don't silence the storm. You stop wrestling with it. This imagery is not just poetic. It is the essence of calm, separating what is within your reach from what is forever beyond it. The first skill in staying calm and positive in life is learning the boundary of control. You can control your thoughts, actions, choices, and the effort you give. You cannot control traffic jams, the opinions of strangers, or the way yesterday ended. Yet most of your stress, if you trace it back, comes from fighting what you can't alter. Recognizing this is like setting down a heavy backpack you didn't realize you were carrying. The weight belonged to things never yours to hold. To practice this separation, draw a circle on paper. Inside, write what you can influence today: how you breathe, what words you speak, how you treat your body, how you respond to challenges. Outside, write everything you can't: your past mistakes, the stock market's mood, whether the rain falls tomorrow. Keep the drawing simple. The act itself trains your mind to stop leaking energy toward the uncontrollable. When you look at that circle daily, your focus narrows and your peace expands. Still, even when you know the boundary, your emotions resist. A rude comment pierces deeper than you expect. A rejection email echoes in your chest. You catch yourself rehearsing arguments in your head, long after the person has walked away. Calmness, then, is not about never feeling shaken. It is about resetting faster. Think of your emotions as a mirror fogged with steam. You cannot see through it until you clear the condensation. Each reset is a gentle wipe across the glass, restoring clarity before the fog thickens. One reset tool is the naming practice. When stress surges, whisper to yourself, "I feel anxious. I feel frustrated. I feel hurt." Neuroscience shows that simply labeling an emotion reduces its intensity. Your brain shifts from raw reactivity to measured awareness. You take the driver's seat again, not the storm. Try it the next time your heart pounds. Name it, own it, then release it. Another reset is physical. Emotions live in the body, not only in thoughts. Walk briskly for 5 minutes. Splash cool water on your face. Stretch your arms overhead as if you're lifting a heavy weight off your chest. These small acts change your physiology, and your physiology rewires your mood. Picture it as pressing the reset button on a computer. It doesn't delete the files, but it refreshes the system. Breath itself is your most portable anchor. Practice the 4-7-8 rhythm. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Release for 8. When you exhale longer than you inhale, your body activates its parasympathetic system, slowing the storm inside. The science is simple. The impact is profound. With 3 rounds of this breath, your pulse eases, your shoulders drop, and your mind stops running. Yet calmness is not only reactive, it is proactive. If you wait for the storm to come before you remember your tools, you will always be behind. Instead, build rituals that steady you even on ordinary days. Begin your morning by noticing your first thought. If it is heavy, I don't want to face this day. Pause, breathe, and plant a gentler one. I choose to start slowly, but I will move forward. This shift takes seconds, yet it sets the current of your day like the rudder of a ship. You may ask, why dwell on calm when the world demands speed? Because calm multiplies effectiveness. Imagine 2 archers. One shakes with impatience, releasing arrows wildly. The other breathes steadily, eyes locked, posture stable. Who hits the target more often? Calmness is not laziness, it is precision. By training yourself to pause, you do not lose time, you reclaim accuracy. Positivity blooms from the same soil, but positivity is not naive optimism. It does not ignore darkness, it reframes it. Life will bruise you with disappointments. You will face rejection letters, medical scares, and people who misunderstand your worth. The question is not whether these arrive, but how you interpret them when they do. To remain positive, you practice gratitude, not shallow thank yous, but deep recognition of growth hidden inside hardships. Think back to your own detours. Perhaps a relationship ended painfully, yet without it, you would never have met the friend who now anchors your life. Perhaps a job rejection freed you to explore a path that better suited your talents. In hindsight, the pain was the soil in which resilience sprouted. Gratitude, then, is not about pretending suffering is pleasant. It is about recognizing what suffering produces in you. A daily gratitude journal sharpens this skill. But instead of repeating cliches, I am grateful for family, for food, challenge yourself to dig deeper. I am grateful for the traffic jam because it gave me 20 extra minutes to listen to music that lifted me. I am grateful for the criticism because it revealed what I must strengthen. This practice rewires your perception. Soon, your brain begins scanning for silver linings without your conscious effort. You may wonder, what about energy? Why does calm feel abundant on some days and scarce on others? Imagine yourself as a rechargeable battery. Every action either charges or drains you. Talking with a supportive friend charges. Mindlessly scrolling through negative news drains. Cooking a nourishing meal charges. Arguing pointlessly on social media drains. Without noticing, you run on empty because you let drains outnumber charges. To reclaim calm, conduct an energy audit. Write down your typical day and mark each activity as plus or 0. Then commit to adding one more plus and removing one daily over weeks. The balance shifts. Calmness is not only a mindset, it is the result of protecting your energy economy. Still, storms will visit. You cannot schedule serenity, but you can prepare. Imagine carrying a pocket toolkit, naming emotions, physical resets, breathwork, gratitude shifts, energy audits. The more you practice them on calm days, the more natural they feel on stormy ones. Then, when life tests you, you will not scramble. You will respond. There is one more dimension. Your inner voice. That constant narrator inside you can be the most violent storm of all. It whispers, "You're not enough. You failed again. You'll never catch up." If you listened to a friend speak to you this way, you'd walk away. Yet you let your inner voice repeat these attacks daily. To stay calm and positive, you must retrain this voice into an ally. Begin by noticing its script. When you hear, "I can't handle this," pause and question, "Is that true? What evidence contradicts it?" Then reframe, "This is difficult, but I have handled difficulty before, and I will again." Reframing is not blind positivity, it is balanced truth. Over time, these micro-edits accumulate, and your inner voice shifts from enemy to coach. Self-talk also thrives on affirmations. Choose sentences that feel both kind and credible. "I am learning to handle challenges with steadiness. I deserve moments of rest." Repeat them not as magic spells, but as seeds. Each repetition waters them, and eventually they grow roots. Alongside inner voice, design external anchors, morning journaling, evening reflection, mindful walking, or lighting a candle in silence. These small rituals remind you that you can always return to calm. The storm outside may roar, but inside, you train your own weather. Notice how all these practices, letting go, resetting, gratitude, energy management, reframing, rituals, are interconnected. They are not separate techniques scattered randomly. They are layers of the same skill, choosing where your focus lives. Calmness is focus reclaimed. Positivity is perspective reclaimed. As you practice, expect setbacks. Some days the storm will win. You will snap at a loved one, spiral in worry, or forget your journal. Do not treat these lapses as proof you failed. Treat them as proof you are human. What matters is the reset, noticing, pausing, returning. Each reset builds resilience. Imagine a muscle strengthening each time it repairs, micro tears. Likewise, your calm muscle strengthens every time you return after drifting. Think of yourself 1 year from now. You wake in the morning, and instead of dreading the rush, you pause and breathe. At work, when chaos unfolds, you remember the circle of influence and focus on what is yours. When sadness arrives, you name it, stretch, breathe, and write gratitude for the lesson hidden inside. Your energy flows more smoothly. Your relationships feel lighter, and even though storms still swirl, you move as though you carry an invisible lighthouse inside. This is not fantasy. It is the compound effect of small practices, repeated. Calmness and positivity are not traits you either inherit or lack. They are skills, and every skill grows with attention, repetition, and compassion. The storm will continue outside, but within, you now hold the switch. Each time you press it, you remind yourself that calm is not distant, not conditional, not rare. Calm is here, in your breath, in your focus, in the way you choose to frame the world. Storm to stillness. That is the transformation already unfolding. You clutch tighter, thinking that if you just hold on long enough, you'll bend reality to your will. Yet the more your fingers dig in, the more the rope burns your skin. This is what attachment to control feels like. The irony is sharp. By refusing to release, you increase your suffering. Calm begins not when you manage everything, but when you surrender what was never yours to command. Letting go is not giving up. It is not laziness, nor indifference, nor weakness. It is a conscious act of strength. To let go is to recognize the difference between effort that matters and effort that drains you. It is choosing to focus on your influence instead of wasting your soul on the impossible. Imagine a traveler carrying a bag filled with stones. Each stone represents a regret, a grudge, a fear of tomorrow. The traveler insists on keeping the bag because someday I might need these, but the stones only slow every step. Now imagine dropping one stone, then another, until the bag grows lighter. The path doesn't change, but the walk becomes freer. That is the freedom of letting go. Where does letting go begin? With awareness. You cannot release what you do not notice. Many of your attachments are subtle, like holding a constant inner argument with someone long gone, or expecting yourself never to make mistakes, or replaying yesterday's choices as though they might rewrite themselves. Start by observing. Ask, what am I gripping right now that belongs to the past? What am I gripping that lies in the future? When you name it, you see the stone for what it is. One common weight is the craving for approval. You want others to like you, to praise you, to validate your worth. But clinging to every opinion leaves you swaying with the breeze. Someone compliments you, and you rise. Someone criticizes you, and you crash. Letting go of approval does not mean becoming arrogant. It means rooting your value in your own principles. Write down 3 values you choose to live by. Perhaps kindness, curiosity, integrity. Each day, measure yourself against them, not against applause. Applause fades. Values endure. Another weight is resentment. Someone wronged you, and you hold the memory like a weapon, ready to strike if they approach again. But the blade is double-edged. It cuts you each time you rehearse the story. Letting go of resentment is not excusing the harm. It is refusing to let the harm define you. A simple ritual can help. Write the person's name on a paper, along with what you feel. Then safely burn or tear it. As the paper disappears, imagine the hold loosening. The act does not erase memory, but it severs the rope of attachment. Fear is another stubborn stone. Fear of failure, fear of uncertainty, fear of change. You grip familiar patterns, even when they suffocate you, because the unknown feels more terrifying. Letting go here is an act of trust. Trust that you will adapt, that you will learn, that you have survived storms before and can again. Recall one moment in your past when life forced you into change. At the time, it shook you, but you survived, perhaps even grew stronger. Let that memory become evidence that letting go of certainty will not destroy you. Perfectionism is perhaps the heaviest stone of all. You cling to the fantasy of flawless performance, flawless choices, flawless self. But perfection is a mirage. You chase it endlessly, and it recedes endlessly. Letting go of perfection means embracing progress instead. The next time you attempt a task, give yourself permission to do it at 80% good enough. Notice how freeing it feels to complete, rather than endlessly polish. Calm blooms, not from flawless execution, but from gentle acceptance. There is also the grip of outcomes. You study hard, but you demand a certain grade. You prepare carefully, but you demand a certain promotion. You love deeply, but you demand a certain reciprocation. The tighter you tie your peace to outcomes, the more fragile your peace becomes. Letting go means shifting your focus from outcome to effort. Say to yourself, I will give my best, and release what comes after. Like planting seeds, you water, you weed, but you cannot force the harvest. Trust the process, release the result. Letting go is often misunderstood as passive acceptance. In truth, it is active engagement with reality, radical acceptance. psychologists call it. It means facing what is, without denial or resistance. If rain falls on your planned picnic, you acknowledge the sky's choice. You adjust, move indoors, enjoy differently. Fighting reality only exhausts you. Embracing it restores energy. Acceptance does not equal approval. You may not approve of the rain, but you free yourself from waging a useless war against clouds. A practical exercise. Tonight, list 3 things from your day you could not control, but fought anyway. Perhaps traffic, a colleague's mood, or a delayed response. Beside each, write, "I release this." Then note 3 things you did control: your tone of voice, your decision to walk instead of drive, your effort on a project. Beside each, write, "This is mine." Over time, this ritual rewires your mind toward calm discernment. Another method is visualization. Picture a flowing river. Place each burden you grip, a worry, a resentment, a fear, on a leaf. Watch it drift downstream until it disappears. Feel your chest lighten as you repeat. This imagery is not childish. It is neurological rehearsal. Your brain begins to associate release with relief. Soon, letting go becomes instinct. The act of letting go also applies to possessions. How many objects in your space carry silent weight? Clothes you never wear, but feel guilty discarding. Papers you keep, just in case. Each item whispers at you, demanding mental energy. Simplify. Choose 1 drawer this week. Remove what no longer serves you. Donate, recycle, discard. Notice how your environment mirrors your inner state. A lighter room cultivates a lighter mind. Even relationships sometimes require release. Not every person belongs in every chapter of your life. Holding on to toxic ties out of fear of loneliness poisons your calm. Letting go here is an act of love for yourself and even for them. It allows both to grow separately. This does not mean you sever ties recklessly. It means you evaluate. Does this bond nurture me or drain me? If it drains consistently, loosening it may be the kindest path. There is beauty in impermanence. The Japanese concept of wabi-sabi celebrates the imperfect, the transient, the incomplete. A cracked tea bowl is not discarded. It is repaired with gold. The break highlighted as part of its story. In the same way, your life gains depth, not from what stays perfect, but from what changes and ends. By letting go, you honor impermanence instead of fighting it. Consider the seasons. Leaves fall, not because trees fail, but because release is necessary for renewal. Winter strips the branches bare, so spring may return. Your own letting go is the same. Each release creates room for the new opportunities, new relationships, new growth. Without autumn's surrender, spring's blossoms would never arrive. When you resist letting go, anxiety multiplies. When you release, energy returns. Imagine 2 versions of yourself entering a challenge. One clings to every possible outcome, every fear of failure, every memory of past mistakes. The other focuses only on effort, trusts the process, and releases the rest. Which one moves with steadier breath, clearer focus, lighter steps? You already know. The hardest part may be forgiving yourself. You replay moments when you spoke harshly, missed chances, made choices you regret. You grip them as if regret might change them. But self-forgiveness is the deepest letting go. Ask, what lesson did this teach me? How has it shaped me? Write those lessons down. Then whisper to yourself, I release the shame. I keep the wisdom. This shift transforms scars into teachers. Your calm depends less on circumstances and more on what you carry inside. Letting go is dropping the unnecessary load so you can walk unburdened. Each release is a small act, but the accumulation builds a life of freedom. Picture your future self, lighter, clearer, more at peace. You still face challenges, but you move without dragging chains. Your laughter comes easier. Your presence feels calmer because you have learned the art of release. That is the power of letting go. Gratitude is often painted in pastel colors. You are told to count your blessings, to keep smiling, to write down things you like, your family, your health, your home. These rituals have value, but they skim the surface. True gratitude is deeper, messier, more complicated. It is not only about appreciating what glitters. It is about finding meaning, even in what feels broken, about discovering gold in the shadows. Think about how you normally react when life denies you something you wanted. You miss out on a job, or a plan collapses, or someone rejects you. Instinctively, your mind labels these as failures, setbacks, reasons for bitterness. But gratitude whispers another possibility. Maybe these moments hold hidden lessons, new directions, or strength you could not have built otherwise. To stay calm and positive in life, you must train yourself to look beyond the immediate sting and search for the concealed gift. Picture yourself on a hike. The trail winds upward, but halfway through the sky darkens and rain pours down. You grumble, you slip, you long for the sunny day you imagined. Yet later, when the clouds part, you see a waterfall you would have missed on a dry path. The rain was not pleasant, but it guided you to unexpected beauty. Gratitude for the shadows works the same way. It does not deny the storm. It recognizes what the storm revealed. Why is this so hard? Because the brain is wired for negativity bias. Evolution taught your ancestors to scan constantly for danger. A rustle in the bushes could be a predator, so they paid more attention to threats than to sunsets. That bias still lives in you. A single insult echoes louder than 10 compliments. A minor setback overshadows several small wins. Gratitude is the practice that rewires this tendency. Each time you search deliberately for hidden value, you train your brain to balance the scale. Start small. Tonight, instead of listing only obvious blessings, ask, what frustration today contained a hidden gift? Maybe the long line at the cafe gave you time to notice a stranger's kindness. Maybe the traffic jam forced you to pause and breathe instead of rushing. Maybe the mistake at work taught you more than success would have. Write these down. Over weeks, your journal shifts tone. It stops being a catalog of sunshine and becomes a mosaic of lessons, light and shadow woven together. Another practice is what you could call gratitude reframing. Take one memory that still makes you wince, perhaps a breakup, an embarrassing failure, or a financial loss. At first glance, you see only pain. But now, step back and ask, what did this experience add to my life that nothing else could? Did it push you to grow more independent? Did it show you who your true friends were? Did it expose weaknesses you later strengthened? Write the event in 2 columns. First the hurt, then the hidden gift. You may be surprised how often the gift outweighs the pain. A powerful metaphor here is the Japanese art of kintsugi. When pottery breaks, instead of discarding it, artisans repair the cracks with gold lacquer. The flaw becomes part of the design, making the bowl more beautiful and unique. Your life works the same way. The cracks, the disappointments, the setbacks are not ugly stains. They are golden seams that reveal resilience, wisdom, empathy. Gratitude for the shadows is the act of highlighting those seams instead of hiding them. Consider how this changes your relationships. When someone hurts you, your reflex is to replay the wound. But if you search for growth in that pain, you often find unexpected gratitude. Perhaps the betrayal sharpened your ability to set boundaries. Perhaps the argument forced you to speak up for yourself. Perhaps the loss taught you compassion for others who suffer the same. Gratitude does not excuse the wrong. It transforms your perspective from victimhood to empowerment. There is also gratitude for your own struggles. You criticize yourself harshly, wishing you had been stronger, wiser, faster. But gratitude reframes self-criticism. Instead of hating your past mistakes, you honor them for shaping your present strength. Think of a time you fell and got back up. That resilience, that grit, that deeper empathy you now carry. They were born from failure. Gratitude here is not denial. It is self-respect. One exercise. Write a letter to your past self during a painful moment. Begin by acknowledging the struggle. Then thank yourself for surviving, for learning, for carrying forward a lesson. For example, thank you, younger me, for enduring that rejection. It hurt, but it showed me I could keep going. It gave me empathy I would not otherwise have. This practice turns old wounds into honored teachers. Another exercise is called gratitude for the antagonist. Think of someone who challenges you consistently, maybe a difficult boss, a critical family member, or a rival who pushes your buttons. Instead of only resenting them, list what they inadvertently teach you. Patience, assertiveness, clarity about your values. This shift does not make you like them, but it liberates you from constant irritation. You reclaim power by recognizing growth, even from adversity. Gratitude in shadows also applies to the mundane. Ordinary inconveniences can hold hidden blessings if you choose to see them. The broken appliance that forces you to spend an evening without screens. Suddenly, you rediscover conversation. The canceled plan that disappoints you. Suddenly, you have time to rest. The rainy day that ruins your outing. Suddenly, you read a book you had forgotten. Each small irritation can be reinterpreted as a subtle nudge toward balance. Your body, too, holds opportunities for shadow gratitude. When you fall ill, instead of only cursing the discomfort, you might notice how it teaches you to slow down, to care for yourself, to appreciate health when it returns. When you tire during exercise, instead of groaning, you might thank your muscles for reminding you they are alive, adaptable, capable of growth. Even pain can carry gratitude when seen as communication rather than punishment. There is also collective gratitude, the kind that emerges in crises shared with others. Natural disasters, economic downturns, or social upheavals reveal both suffering and solidarity. People come together, help strangers, rediscover community. Gratitude here lies not in the crisis itself, but in the humanity it awakens. When you recall such times, focus on the connections forged, the resilience discovered, the creativity born under pressure. Skeptics may argue this is just toxic positivity, the denial of real pain. But there is a clear difference. Toxic positivity says, everything is fine, ignore the bad. Gratitude in shadows says, everything is not fine, but within the bad, there is something I can value. It validates pain while refusing to let pain define the entire picture. That distinction makes it healing rather than harmful. Science supports this. Studies on post-traumatic growth show that many people emerge from crises with stronger relationships, deeper appreciation for life, and renewed priorities. They do not glorify trauma, but they recognize that growth can coexist with it. Gratitude is the lens that reveals this growth. Practicing gratitude for the shadows requires patience. At first, your brain resists. Pain feels heavy. Gratitude feels forced. But like strengthening a muscle, repetition builds capacity. The more often you reframe setbacks, the faster your perspective shifts. One day you notice that you automatically ask, "What's the hidden gift here?" before bitterness can even take root. Imagine applying this in real time. You spill coffee on your shirt before an important meeting. Instead of spiraling, you breathe, laugh, and think. At least this reminds me not to take myself too seriously. You lose your keys and are late. Instead of fuming, you use the walk to clear your head. These tiny reframes accumulate, turning daily life into a calmer, lighter journey. Now extend it to larger trials. When a long-term plan falls apart, you take time to grieve. Then you ask, "What door might this open? What did I learn?" This question becomes your compass. Instead of drowning in loss, you redirect toward possibility. Calmness returns, not because the storm ended, but because you found a lighthouse in the dark. Over time, gratitude in shadows changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a passive recipient of events and start seeing yourself as an active interpreter. Life happens, but you decide what it means. You carry a lens that turns even the dimmest moments into sources of wisdom. This mindset does not make you invulnerable, but it makes you unbreakable. Think of yourself a year from now, practicing this daily. You face stress, but you recover faster. You face setbacks, but you mine them for growth. People around you notice that you radiate steadiness, not because your life is perfect, but because you have mastered the art of gratitude in shadows. This is not about ignoring hardship. It is about reclaiming power. Gratitude in shadows says, "Life can bruise me, but I will not waste the pain. I will turn it into strength, empathy, perspective." And with each act of gratitude, you transform shadow into light. You know the feeling. A sudden rush of anger after a careless remark. A tight knot of anxiety before you even open the email. A wave of sadness that crashes over you in the middle of the day for reasons you cannot quite name. Your emotions rise like weather, fast, unpredictable, and overwhelming. To stay calm and positive in life, you need not eliminate storms of feeling. You need the art of resetting. Resetting emotions is not about pretending you never feel them. It is not about suppressing anger, ignoring fear, or forcing joy when you don't feel it. Suppression is like holding a beach ball underwater. The longer you push it down, the harder it bursts upward. Resetting is different. Resetting means you notice the storm, you accept it, and then you clear the fog so you can see again. Imagine your mind as a mirror. When emotions strike, fog clouds the surface. You can still look into it, but your reflection is distorted. Everything feels larger, scarier, more hopeless than it is. Resetting is simply wiping the fog away so you can see reality with clarity. The emotions don't vanish, but they stop controlling you. The first tool is what neuroscientists call name it to tame it. When you feel the swell of frustration, whisper to yourself, "I am frustrated." When anxiety spikes, say, "I feel anxious." This seems almost too simple. Yet research shows that labeling an emotion engages your brain's logical circuits, calming the stormy regions that fuel panic. You step from reactivity into awareness. Awareness doesn't erase the feeling, but it reduces its intensity, like identifying a shadow in the dark. It suddenly feels less threatening. Try this exercise now. Think of the last time you felt overwhelmed. Replay it in your mind, but instead of drowning, pause and label. That was sadness. That was anger. That was fear. Notice the subtle release, as though the grip loosens. This naming practice can be done silently in public, whispered under your breath, or written in a journal. Each time you name, you practice taming. The second reset tool lives in your body. Emotions are not only thoughts, they are physiological storms, racing heart, clenched jaw, restless hands. To reset, you must use the body to soothe the mind. One simple technique is patterned breathing. Try the 4-7-8 rhythm. Inhale deeply for 4 counts. Hold for 7. Exhale for 8. The extended exhale signals to your nervous system. You are safe. You can release. After 3 rounds, your pulse slows, your muscles soften, and your mind follows. Movement is another physical reset. When anger surges, walk briskly around the block. When sadness weighs heavy, stretch your arms upward as though lifting a burden off your chest. When anxiety buzzes, shake your hands, roll your shoulders, or do 10 jumping jacks. These actions seem small, but they break the physical loop of tension. Imagine them as pressing the reset button on a computer. The frozen screen of your emotions begins to refresh. Cold water works too. Splash your face, rinse your wrists, or hold an ice cube for a few seconds. The shock interrupts the spiral and forces your body to reset. Athletes use this. Therapists teach it. You can apply it whenever emotions escalate beyond reason. But resetting isn't only about emergency tools. It is about designing rituals so that you recover faster each time. Consider creating a reset playlist, songs that lift you, ground you, or calm you. The moment you feel stormy, press play and let the rhythm regulate your breath, or choose a calming scent like lavender, citrus, or sandalwood. Inhale deeply and let your senses remind you of safety. Some people find reset through visualization. Close your eyes and picture a sanctuary, a beach, a forest, a quiet room, bathed in light. The more vividly you imagine the sound of waves or the smell of pine, the more your nervous system responds as if you are truly there. This sanctuary becomes a portable reset, one you can visit anytime without leaving your chair. Another layer of resetting is thought reframing. When emotion clouds your mind, your thoughts exaggerate. I always fail. Everyone is against me. This will never end. These absolutes are rarely true. To reset, challenge them. Ask, is this fact or assumption? What evidence supports the opposite? Replace always with sometimes. Replace never with not yet. This gentle reframing shifts the storm into a passing shower. Journaling helps too. Write down your raw feelings without editing. Let the page absorb your rage, sadness, or fear. Then step back and read. Often the act of transferring emotion from mind to paper gives distance. You see patterns, exaggerations, or truths you missed while spinning inside the storm. Resetting is also relational. Share your emotions with someone you trust. Simply speaking aloud, "I feel overwhelmed today," often reduces the load. Human connection acts as a buffer, reminding you that you are not alone in your storm. Even sending a quick message to a friend, "Can I vent for 2 minutes?" can serve as an emotional reset. Of course, not all emotions can be cleared instantly. Some storms linger. That is okay. Resetting is not about erasing feeling, but regaining clarity to respond wisely. You may still feel sad after journaling, but now you see the sadness without drowning in it. You may still feel anxious after breathing, but now your body is calmer and your choices steadier. That difference matters. Think of a child learning to ride a bicycle. At first, they fall often. Each reset requires getting up again. Over time, the falls still happen, but the recovery is faster, smoother, less frightening. Emotional resetting works the same. With practice, your bounce-back time shortens. Instead of spiraling for hours, you reset in minutes. Instead of carrying anger for days, you release it within an hour. One powerful metaphor is the emotional dashboard. Picture your emotions as lights on a car panel. Anger, sadness, fear. Each lights up when something needs attention. Resetting is like checking the dashboard. Acknowledge the signal, address what you can, then turn the light off. Without resetting, you drive with flashing warnings, blinding you. With resetting, you handle each one calmly and continue your journey. Daily micro resets help maintain balance. Try the 2-minute pause. Every few hours, stop. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and scan your body. Ask, what am I feeling right now? Do I need to stretch, drink water, or shift my thoughts? This small check prevents emotions from building into storms. It is like brushing your teeth. You prevent decay instead of waiting for crisis. Nature offers resets too. Step outside. Feel the breeze. Watch the sky. Even a 5-minute walk among trees reduces stress hormones. If you cannot reach nature, bring it to you. A plant on your desk, sunlight through the window. Even a picture of a landscape can soothe your mind. Your nervous system evolved in nature. Reconnecting reminds you of calm embedded in your biology. Remember, emotional resetting is not weakness. It is discipline. Anyone can lash out, spiral, or numb themselves with distraction. It takes strength to notice the storm, choose a reset, and return to clarity. Each time you reset, you train resilience. Picture your future self. You still face provocations. Someone cuts you off in traffic. A project collapses. A loved one snaps at you. But instead of exploding or collapsing, you pause, you breathe, you name the feeling, you stretch or journal, and you reset. The storm loses its grip within minutes. People around you notice your steadiness. You become the calm center in their chaos, inspiring them without even trying. This is the art of emotional resetting. It is not glamorous, it is not dramatic, but it is transformative. With it, you move through life lighter, steadier, and more positive. Without it, every storm hijacks you. With it, storms still come. But you know how to return to stillness again and again. Picture yourself as a battery. Every thought, every conversation, every action either charges you or drains you. Some days you feel fully charged, humming with focus and creativity. Other days you wake up already low, as if someone siphoned your energy overnight. Calmness and positivity aren't only about mindset. They depend on how you manage this invisible currency called energy. If money requires budgeting, so does your vitality. Spend recklessly, and you go bankrupt. Spend wisely, and you thrive. Most people treat energy as infinite, assuming they can push endlessly with caffeine, deadlines, and sheer willpower. But your body and mind obey natural limits. Ignoring those limits is like trying to run a car without refueling. It sputters, stalls, and eventually breaks down. To stay calm and positive in life, You must learn not just to preserve energy, but to invest it where it multiplies. Start by observing how your energy flows throughout a typical day. Imagine your activities listed in a ledger, credits on one side, debits on the other. Some interactions leave you buzzing with inspiration. Others leave you hollow. Some habits renew you. Others drain you dry. An honest energy audit reveals that the balance sheet of your life may be tilted toward depletion without you realizing. Do this exercise for 1 week. Carry a small notebook. Each time you finish an activity, mark it with plus if it gave energy, if it drained, or 0 if neutral. Do not judge, just record. At the end of the week, patterns emerge. Maybe social media scrolling shows a long string of marks. Maybe time outdoors shows consistent plus. Suddenly, you see where your energy leaks and where it replenishes. Awareness is step 1. Now consider your biggest drains: stressful meetings, toxic relationships, cluttered environments, multitasking. All of these sap more than you expect. The brain burns enormous fuel when switching tasks rapidly. That endless tab-hopping, half-answering emails while half-listening to someone on the phone depletes you faster than focused work. Multitasking feels efficient, but drains like a leak in your wallet. To reset, practice monotasking. Choose one task, set a timer, silence distractions, and immerse fully. You'll finish faster, with energy to spare. Another drain is emotional labor, the unspoken effort of managing others' moods. Maybe you constantly soothe a friend who never reciprocates, or you absorb colleagues' complaints, or you anticipate your partner's reactions before they even happen. This constant emotional caretaking depletes your reserves. The solution is not cold withdrawal, but boundaries. Ask yourself, am I taking responsibility for feelings that are not mine? If yes, step back with compassion, but firmness. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is necessary. Clutter also quietly drains. A messy desk or chaotic room sends subtle signals of unfinished business, stealing attention. Each glance at the pile of papers whispers, "You still haven't done this." Simplify your environment, and you simplify your mind. Spend 15 minutes clearing one space, and notice how your energy feels lighter, more focused, less fragmented. Digital overload is another invisible drain. Notifications yank your attention dozens of times a day, each one demanding micro-decisions. Answer now or later, swipe away or respond. Each choice costs energy. Reclaim power by curating your digital diet. Turn off non-essential notifications, schedule specific check-in times, and delete apps that no longer serve you. Think of it as unsubscribing from energy debt. Now, let's shift to energy boosters. These are your hidden power sources. They do not have to be grand. Sometimes the smallest practices recharge the most. A 10-minute walk outside, sunlight on your skin, a song that makes you dance in your chair, a genuine laugh with a friend. These moments are like plugging into a charger. Yet many people skip them, thinking they're indulgences. In truth, they are necessities. Sleep is the most powerful charger of all, yet modern life treats it as negotiable, sacrificing rest to finish tasks. But without adequate sleep, your brain cannot regulate emotions, your immune system weakens, and your energy plummets. Protect your sleep as you would protect money in a safe. Set a consistent bedtime, keep devices away, and create a ritual of winding down. Think of sleep as depositing into your energy bank each night. Without it, you start each day in overdraft. Nutrition is another charger. Food is not just calories. It is fuel for mood and focus. Heavy, processed meals drain like sandbags, while balanced, nutrient-rich meals sustain. Drink water, eat whole foods, and notice how your clarity sharpens. Your body and mind are inseparable. Treat one poorly, and the other suffers. Movement is equally vital. Exercise is not merely about fitness, it is about energy flow. A sedentary body stagnates, while movement circulates oxygen and endorphins. You don't need a marathon. Stretching, walking, or dancing for 10 minutes can recharge you. Movement resets both mood and stamina, reminding you that you are alive, not a machine chained to a chair. Connection with uplifting people is another potent booster. Think of conversations as energy exchanges. With some, you feel drained, like they siphoned your spirit. With others, you feel uplifted, lighter, inspired. Prioritize relationships that leave you better, and limit those that constantly pull you down. Community is not about quantity, it is about quality of energy shared. Creative outlets also recharge. When you paint, write, cook, or build, you enter a flow state where time vanishes. In that state, your brain releases dopamine, fueling motivation and joy. Even if you are not an artist, creativity can be as simple as rearranging furniture, trying a new recipe, or doodling in a notebook. Creativity is energy renewal, disguised as play. One overlooked booster is silence. Constant noise exhausts your nervous system. Give yourself moments of quiet. No screens, no chatter, just stillness. At first it feels uncomfortable, even boring. But soon you realize silence is a well of restoration. In quiet, your mind processes, heals, and resets. Once you identify drains and boosters, the real work is balancing them. You cannot eliminate every drain. Work, chores, obligations, all carry cost. But you can deliberately pair drains with boosters. After a draining meeting, step outside for 5 minutes. After a demanding project, reward yourself with music or movement. This balancing act keeps your energy bank solvent. Think of energy like financial investing. You don't only pay bills, you also save and grow wealth. Apply the same to your vitality. Invest in long-term boosters, good sleep, meaningful relationships, exercise, so your baseline remains high. Then daily, sprinkle in micro boosters to top up. Over time, your reserves grow and calmness becomes sustainable. Another key principle: say no. Each yes to an unwanted commitment is a withdrawal from your energy account. Saying no may feel uncomfortable, but it preserves your reserves for what matters. Practice polite refusal. Thank you for thinking of me, but I can't commit right now. Remember, every no to something draining is a yes to your peace. Energy management also involves attention. Where attention goes, energy flows. Notice where your thoughts linger. Are you replaying arguments? Worrying about uncontrollable futures? Each loop spends energy with no return. Redirect attention to the present. What you can do, what you can enjoy, what you can influence now. Presence is efficiency for the soul. Finally, gratitude itself acts as an energy multiplier. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, you reduce mental leakage. Complaints drain, appreciation fuels. This does not mean ignoring problems. It means refusing to waste energy on endless dissatisfaction. Gratitude aligns your attention with abundance, and abundance generates energy. Picture yourself living this way. You wake up refreshed because you honored your sleep. You fuel with nourishing food and stretch your body. You handle tasks one at a time. conserving focus. You spend time with someone uplifting, and you take a walk in the sun. Yes, stress still arises. Obligations still exist, but you no longer end days depleted. Your battery recharges faster than it drains. Calm and positivity become your natural baseline, not rare exceptions. Energy is currency, but unlike money, you cannot borrow indefinitely. The interest of overextension is burnout, exhaustion, irritability. Protect your reserves as fiercely as your bank account. Budget your day with intention. Minimize drains. Maximize boosts. Invest in long-term stability. Then watch how your calm expands, how your positivity shines, how your life feels less like survival and more like thriving. Routine can feel like both comfort and cage. You wake, you check your phone, you eat the same breakfast, you travel the same road, you repeat the same sequence of tasks. Predictability shields you from chaos, but over time, it dulls your spirit. Days blur into weeks, and weeks into months, until you wonder where your spark went. Calm and positivity are not found only in stillness. They are also born in discovery. That is where everyday adventures enter. The art of breaking monotony with small, intentional acts of novelty that keep your mind awake and your heart alive. Adventure is often imagined as dramatic, climbing mountains, traveling across continents, diving into oceans. But waiting for those grand events means you postpone joy to rare occasions. Everyday adventures remind you that curiosity does not need a passport. Wonder is available in your own backyard if you are willing to look with fresh eyes. Begin by shifting your perspective. Walk your usual route, but imagine you are a traveler seeing it for the first time. Notice the mural you usually rush past, the sound of birds hidden under the traffic, the expression on a shopkeeper's face. Each detail you overlook holds potential for delight when observed anew. You don't need a new place, you need a new lens. Try this. Take a different route home once a week, even if it adds 5 minutes. The novelty stimulates your brain, sparking curiosity. Neuroscientists note that novelty releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of motivation and pleasure. This chemical shift alone boosts mood and energy. What feels like a trivial change, a new cafe, a new park, a new street, becomes a microdose of adventure. Food offers another avenue. Instead of the same meals, challenge yourself. Once a week, cook with an unfamiliar ingredient. Buy a vegetable you don't recognize. Search a recipe. Experiment. Sometimes the dish will flop, and you'll laugh. Other times, it will thrill your senses. Either way, you transform dinner from routine to exploration. Dining out can also be reframed. Skip the usual order and try the dish you'd normally avoid. Small risk, large reward. Nature invites endless everyday adventures. You may think you need a camping trip, but even a morning sunrise walk can reset your perspective. Stand barefoot on grass, breathe the air deeply, feel the shift in your body. Night offers its own adventures. Step outside, look at the stars, trace constellations you've never noticed. The sky above your home is a universe waiting. Social adventures enrich just as much. Reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in years. Attend a local workshop. Strike up conversation with a stranger. Each connection carries possibility, a story, a lesson, a friendship. Humans thrive on novelty, not just in environment, but in interaction. Fresh voices bring fresh perspectives. You can also create personal challenges that act as micro-adventures. Dedicate a day to being a tourist in your own city. Visit museums, landmarks, or markets you usually ignore. Give yourself a theme. Photograph 5 doors that catch your eye. Taste 3 desserts. Learn 1 piece of history. By turning ordinary locations into playgrounds of curiosity, you rediscover wonder where you live. For those who claim no time, remember, micro-adventures can last 5 minutes. Set a timer and do something unusual. Dance to 1 song. Doodle in a notebook. Meditate in a new corner of your room. These tiny interruptions break autopilot, reminding your mind that life is more than the to-do list. Adventure is not only about place, it is about mindset. Practice asking what if. What if I sat in a different chair today? What if I read a genre I normally avoid? What if I learned 1 phrase in a new language? These micro shifts train flexibility. They remind you that you are not stuck. You are capable of change in any moment. That capability is the essence of calm confidence. The ripple effects are powerful. When you invite small adventures, your resilience grows. You stop fearing change because novelty becomes familiar. You learn that discomfort is not danger, that trying and failing is safe, that exploration fuels joy. Each adventure is like a rehearsal for life's larger shifts. When bigger changes arrive, you adapt with more ease. Creativity also flourishes with adventure. Exposing yourself to new experiences provides raw material for ideas. Writers, artists, and entrepreneurs often spark innovation after unusual outings. Even if you are not in a creative field, your brain benefits, solving problems, generating options, seeing patterns, all improve when fed novelty. Everyday adventures are not just fun, they are brain fuel. One metaphor captures this well. Imagine water in a pond. If it never moves, it grows stagnant, breeding algae. But when fresh streams flow in, the pond stays clear and alive. Your mind is the same. Routine alone stagnates. Adventure keeps you flowing. Try designing an adventure jar. Write small challenges on slips of paper. Try a new coffee shop. Read a poem aloud. Call someone unexpected. Watch sunrise. Place them in a jar, once or twice a week. Draw one, and do it. This simple system gamifies novelty, ensuring you never settle into dullness. Adventure can also be reflective. Journal in a new style. Write a poem. Sketch alongside words. Or record voice notes instead of typing. Self-expression shifts when the medium shifts. You may discover aspects of yourself hidden by routine. Not every adventure will feel comfortable. Some may feel awkward, silly, or inconvenient. But this is the point. Calmness is not only the absence of disturbance, it is confidence in navigating disturbance. By practicing novelty in safe ways, you train your nervous system to relax even when things are different. That practice pays dividends in life's real storms. Parents can model this for children by creating small family adventures, picnics in unusual spots, cooking nights with mystery ingredients, story swaps where everyone makes up an ending. These build resilience and curiosity early, teaching kids that joy comes from discovery, not only from entertainment screens. Adventure also lives in kindness. Do something unexpectedly generous. Buy coffee for a stranger. Leave a note of encouragement. Volunteer an hour. These acts surprise both giver and receiver, generating warmth. Service reframed as adventure becomes a double charge for your energy. Your spiritual life can also be renewed through adventure. If you pray, meditate, or reflect, try it in new settings. Meditate outdoors. Pray while walking. Reflect while painting. The change of context refreshes your connection to meaning. Now imagine the long-term effect. Instead of life feeling like a gray loop, it becomes a patchwork of colorful threads. You remember not just the big milestones, but the small adventures that punctuated ordinary weeks. The day you tried Ethiopian coffee, the night you stargazed on your balcony, the morning you spoke to a stranger who became a friend. These moments, strung together, create a richer, calmer, more positive life story. Ask yourself, when was the last time I did something new, even tiny? If the answer is weeks or months ago, you've found your next step. Choose one micro-adventure today. It could be as small as listening to music from another culture, or writing with your non-dominant hand, or walking without headphones to notice sounds. Adventure is everywhere, waiting for your invitation. Everyday adventures do not erase stress or hardship. They do something subtler. They remind you that life still holds surprise, joy, possibility. They cut through monotony, refresh perspective, and keep your spirit awake. They balance the seriousness of responsibility with the lightness of play. You don't need mountains. You don't need oceans. You need curiosity. With it, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And each extraordinary moment is fuel for calm, for positivity, for resilience. There is a voice that never leaves you. It speaks when you wake, when you work, when you rest. Sometimes it cheers you on, reminding you that you are capable, resilient, worthy. But more often it whispers criticism. You're not enough. You failed again. Everyone else is doing better. This inner voice shapes how you see the world and yourself more than any external voice ever could. To stay calm and positive in life, you must learn to rewrite that inner script, transforming your harshest critic into your strongest ally. Notice how automatic the voice is. You spill coffee, and before you even clean it, you mutter inside, "I'm so clumsy." You forget an appointment, and the voice sneers, "You're hopeless." The words sting even though no one else heard them. They stick, replaying like an unwanted soundtrack. The problem is not that the voice exists. The problem is that you believe it without question. Start by observing. For one day, pay attention to the exact phrases you say to yourself. Write them down. You may be shocked at how cruel you sound. If a friend spoke to you that way, you would call it bullying. Yet you accept it as normal because it is your own voice. Awareness is step one. You cannot change what you do not notice. Now, challenge those scripts. When you hear, "I always mess up," pause and ask, "Is that true? Always? What about the times I succeeded?" When you hear, "No one likes me," ask, "Really? Or is that one rejection clouding my perspective?" This questioning interrupts automatic negativity, replacing assumption with evidence. Think of a courtroom. Your inner critic acts as prosecutor, listing all your flaws. But you also need a defense attorney, your rational, compassionate self, presenting evidence for your worth. Balance the trial. If you must judge yourself, judge fairly. Reframing is the next tool. Instead of, "I'm terrible at this," say, "This is challenging, and I'm learning." Instead of, "I failed," say, "I found one way that doesn't work." Reframing does not deny difficulty. It reinterprets it as growth. The words you choose matter. They shape emotion, and emotion shapes action. Use metaphors to help. Imagine your inner critic as an overzealous guard dog. It barks at every shadow, trying to protect you from failure or embarrassment. But the barking is exhausting. Your task is not to kill the dog, but to train it. Calmly reassure it. "Thank you, but I've got this." Over time, the barking quiets. Another metaphor. Your inner voice is like background music in a movie. A horror soundtrack makes even a simple walk ominous. A light melody makes the same walk joyful. You cannot control every event on your path, but you can choose the soundtrack. Shift the score from dread to encouragement, and the whole scene changes. Practical exercises make this real. Try affirmations, positive statements repeated until they embed in your mind. Write, I am capable of handling challenges. I am worthy of love and success. I am learning every day. Repeat them each morning. At first they feel awkward, like wearing new shoes. But repetition reshapes grooves in the brain, and soon they fit comfortably. Another practice is future self-scripting. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, calmer, stronger, kinder. Write a letter from that self to your current self. Let it encourage you, advise you, remind you of what matters. This future voice becomes a counterweight to the critic. Proof that growth is possible. Visualization helps too. Close your eyes and picture your inner critic as a character. Maybe it's a stern teacher, a nagging relative, or a gray cloud. Then picture your supportive voice. Warm, wise, uplifting. Each time criticism arises, visualize your supportive character stepping in. This imagery gives shape to your inner dialogue, making it easier to guide. But rewriting your voice is not only about positivity. Sometimes you need neutrality. Instead of swinging from harsh to sugary, aim for balanced. If you think, I'm the worst runner, shift to, running is hard right now, but I'm practicing. Neutrality is believable, sustainable, and calming. Self-compassion anchors this process. Imagine how you would speak to a friend who stumbled. You would not call them worthless. You would offer kindness. Why not extend the same grace to yourself? Each time the critic strikes, pause and ask, if my friend were in this situation, what would I say? Then say it to yourself. Consider environment too. Surround yourself with voices that uplift, friends who encourage, books that inspire, podcasts that teach resilience. These external inputs gradually influence your internal dialogue. Just as a catchy song sticks after hearing it, supportive messages stick when repeated around you. Gratitude supports rewriting. Instead of focusing on what you lack, acknowledge what you already carry. Each night, thank yourself for one thing you did well, no matter how small. I answered that email thoughtfully. I took a walk even when I felt tired. I listened to someone who needed me. These acknowledgments shift your voice from critic to coach. One advanced exercise is mirror talk. Stand before a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and speak aloud words of affirmation. It feels vulnerable, even strange, but powerful. Eye contact with yourself breaks the illusion that the critic is the only truth. You see your own humanity, and compassion grows. Another exercise. Rewrite a memory. Recall a painful moment when your critic screamed, then retell it with a new voice. Instead of, I failed miserably, narrate, I faced a challenge bravely, and though I stumbled, I learned resilience. This does not erase the past, but reframes its meaning, reducing the critic's grip. Technology can assist. Record yourself speaking kind messages. Play them when you feel low. Hearing your own voice encourage you reinforces the shift. Journaling apps, reminders, or even sticky notes on mirrors can cue your new narrative. Of course, the critic never disappears entirely. Its roots run deep. Childhood comments, cultural pressures, perfectionism. But the goal is not silence. The goal is balance. You may still hear the critic, but it no longer dominates. It becomes background noise while your supportive voice leads. Think of professional athletes. They face constant mistakes, yet they train their inner voice to focus on progress. Next play, reset, try again. Without this discipline, failure would paralyze them. You can apply the same in daily life. Each stumble becomes fuel, not finality. Over time, your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as flawed and start seeing yourself as growing. You stop doubting your worth and start trusting your capacity. This new inner voice does not make life easy, but it makes life calmer. Positivity flows naturally when you are no longer at war with yourself. Imagine the ripple effect. With a supportive voice inside, you walk into rooms with quiet confidence. You handle criticism without collapsing. You pursue goals without constant sabotage. Others notice your steadiness and draw inspiration. Calmness spreads not only inward, but outward. This is the art of rewriting your inner voice. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control the narrator. Make it one that uplifts, guides, and steadies you. When storms arise, it will remind you, you are strong enough, you are learning, you are growing. And in that reminder lies the foundation of lasting calm and positivity. Life rarely asks for your permission before it shifts. An email arrives with unexpected news. A phone call changes the course of your afternoon. The mood in your household flips without warning. Amid these fluctuations, your mind can feel like a boat tossed by waves, steady one moment and rattled the next. Calmness and positivity require more than occasional practices. They require anchors. An anchor ritual is a daily practice that grounds you, no matter how stormy the external seas become. Think of an anchor ritual as your personal lighthouse. It doesn't stop the storms, but it gives you a fixed point of reference. When everything else feels uncertain, this ritual reminds you of stability, clarity, and peace. The beauty of an anchor ritual is its simplicity. It does not need hours or special tools. It only requires consistency and intention. Begin with reflection. When in your day, do you feel most adrift? For some, it's mornings, when the flood of tasks looms. For others, it's evenings, when exhaustion mingles with restless thoughts. Identify these vulnerable points and design a ritual to center yourself there. A morning anchor ritual sets tone. Instead of grabbing your phone first thing, try 3 minutes of stillness. Sit upright, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, what is my intention today? Write it in a notebook. One sentence is enough. Today I will respond with patience. Or, today I will finish with focus. This small act directs your energy like a compass. Add gratitude. Jot down 3 things you're thankful for. Not generic, but specific. The sound of rain last night. The text from a friend. The comfort of my pillow. Specificity sharpens appreciation, lifting your mood before the day begins. Some prefer movement as their anchor. 5 minutes of stretching, yoga, or mindful walking can awaken body and mind together. Focus on your breath as you move, syncing rhythm with intention. The point is not performance, but presence. Evening rituals work differently. They don't energize, they release. Imagine carrying a backpack of stress all day. Without ritual, you fall asleep still wearing it, tossing through restless dreams. With ritual, you set it down. One way is journaling. Write what went well, what challenged you, and what you learned. Then close the notebook as if closing the day. Sleep comes easier when the mind has been acknowledged and cleared. Another evening anchor is the sunset pause. Step outside or simply face a window. Watch the sky change. even for 2 minutes. Reflect. What am I grateful for today? What can I let go of? The natural rhythm of day into night reminds you that endings are part of cycles, not failures. Anchor rituals don't need to be elaborate. A candle lit with intention, a cup of tea sipped slowly, a favorite song played mindfully, all can ground you. The difference is not in the object, but in the awareness you bring. One metaphor helps here. Imagine yourself as a tree. Without roots, even a light wind topples you. Rituals are your roots. They dig deep into the soil of your life, keeping you upright when storms arrive. You may bend, but you will not break. Practical exercises strengthen this anchoring. Try a body scan meditation. Lie down, close your eyes, and direct attention from toes to head. Notice tension. Breathe into it. Release. 5 minutes of scanning grounds you in the body, pulling you out of mental storms. Or design a ritual space in your home, a chair by the window, a cushion in the corner, a small desk. Every time you sit there, your mind associates it with calm. Like Pavlov's bell for peace, the space itself becomes the cue. Consistency is key. An anchor ritual is not occasional, it is daily. At first you may forget, but habit builds quickly. The brain loves patterns. With repetition, the ritual becomes automatic, just as brushing teeth does. And just as teeth stay healthy from daily brushing, your mind stays balanced from daily ritual. Some worry they lack time, but rituals can be short. One deep breath with intention before starting the car. One sentence of gratitude before eating. One stretch before opening emails. Anchors do not need weight to hold you. They need repetition. Consider technology as ally. Set phone reminders with words like pause or breathe. Instead of notifications draining you, let them cue your ritual. Over time, the ritual feels less like a task and more like a gift to yourself. Anchor rituals also prepare you for crisis. When life erupts, a sudden loss, a conflict, a health scare, rituals keep you tethered. Even if you cannot control the storm, you can control the act of lighting a candle, breathing deeply, writing a line. These acts say, I am still here. I am still grounded. Think of rituals as spiritual muscle memory. Just as athletes train, so movements become automatic under pressure. Rituals train your mind, so calm becomes reflexive under stress. When fear spikes, your body remembers, breathe. When anger flares, your hand reaches for the journal. When sadness lingers, you step into your ritual space. To personalize rituals, choose symbols that matter. If you love nature, make your anchor a walk outdoors. If words inspire you, make it reading a poem each morning. If music moves you, strum a guitar or hum a melody. The content matters less than the meaning it holds for you. Another layer is ritual stacking, linking a new ritual to an existing habit. If you already make coffee, let the brewing be your mindfulness moment. Inhale aroma, feel warmth, savor. If you brush teeth nightly, add gratitude reflection afterward. Stacking ensures your ritual fits seamlessly into life. Parents can share anchor rituals with children. Reading a story before bed, lighting a candle together, sharing one good thing about today. These not only ground kids but teach them lifelong habits of calm. Families with rituals often weather stress more resiliently because everyone shares a common anchor. Workplaces too can benefit. A team that begins meetings with a moment of silence, gratitude, or intention starts from calm, reducing tension. You may not control your company's culture, but you can influence your corner. Suggest a ritual, model it, and watch its ripple. One striking example: a nurse overwhelmed by hospital chaos began each shift with a 30-second pause, placing her hand on her chest and whispering, "I bring healing and calm." Colleagues noticed her steadiness and soon joined. A simple ritual transformed not just one person, but a unit's culture. Rituals also evolve. What grounds you now may shift later. That's natural. Adapt, refine, change seasonally. Maybe winter rituals include candlelight, while summer rituals include evening walks. Flexibility ensures rituals remain fresh, yet reliable. Over time, anchor rituals weave a thread through your days. No matter what happens, I will have my pause, my breath, my gratitude. This certainty breeds resilience. Anxiety lessens because you trust your capacity to return to calm. Positivity grows because you regularly choose moments of light. Imagine yourself years from now. Life has given joys and challenges, but through it all, you kept your rituals. They became your roots, your lighthouse, your compass. You look back and realize, calmness was not luck. Positivity was not accident. They were cultivated, day by day, through small acts done with devotion. Anchor rituals remind you that peace is not somewhere far away. It is here, in the breath you take, the candle you light, the words you whisper. Your life's storms may rage, but you remain steady because you chose to be anchored. Life does not unfold in straight lines. It bends, it breaks, it surprises. Just when you think you've mastered stability, the ground shifts, an opportunity disappears, a relationship changes, a health scare knocks at the door. In those moments, positivity can feel like a distant luxury, and calmness like a forgotten dream. But resilience, the art of bouncing back, adapting, and even growing stronger through hardship, becomes the bridge that carries you through. A resilient mindset is not about pretending difficulties don't exist. It is about seeing them clearly, facing them fully, and still choosing to move forward. Picture bamboo in a storm. Oak trees may snap under violent winds, but bamboo bends, sways, and then rises again once the storm passes. Resilience is that bamboo quality, flexibility combined with strength. It is the refusal to break, not through stubborn rigidity, but through graceful adaptability. The first step toward resilience is perspective. When setbacks occur, many default to catastrophic thinking. This is the end. I'll never recover. Everything is ruined. These thoughts amplify pain, making obstacles larger than they are. A resilient mindset reframes. Instead of, "This is the end," it asks, "What can I learn? How can this make me stronger?" The event remains difficult, but the interpretation shifts from barrier to stepping stone. Try this exercise. Recall a challenge you once thought unbearable. Maybe a heartbreak, a failure, a disappointment. Now notice, you are here. You survived. Perhaps you even carry new wisdom or strength because of it. Resilience grows each time you remember that yesterday's storms did not destroy you. They shaped you. Another cornerstone of resilience is emotional flexibility. Life will not follow your script. Unexpected turns are inevitable. If you cling rigidly to how things should be, you suffer twice. Once from the event itself, and again from resisting reality. Emotional flexibility says, "This is not what I wanted, but I can adjust," like a river flowing around rocks. Flexibility finds new pathways. Mindfulness strengthens this adaptability. Imagine your thoughts as clouds drifting through the sky. Some are dark, heavy, and stormy. Some are light and bright. None remain forever. By observing them without judgment, You remember their impermanence. Mindfulness teaches you that emotions pass, and with them, so does despair. But resilience is not just mental, it's also physical. Your nervous system handles stress, like a circuit board handles electricity. Overload it, and it short circuits. Caring for your body, through sleep, nutrition, exercise, fortifies the system so you can withstand greater pressure. Regular movement, even a daily walk, lowers stress hormones and boosts endorphins. It's not vanity, it's survival training for your resilience. Self-belief plays a central role. A resilient person is not someone who never doubts, but someone who remembers evidence of past strength. Build a strengths inventory. Write down times you overcame challenges, skills you mastered, values you upheld under pressure. When hardship strikes, revisit this list. It whispers, "You have done hard things before. You will again." Consider the role of community. Resilience is not a solo sport. Sharing your burdens with trusted people lightens the load. Sometimes resilience means allowing others to help, to remind you of your strength when you've forgotten. A resilient mindset does not insist on isolation. It seeks connection as fuel. Forgiveness also nurtures resilience. Holding grudges or clinging to mistakes is like carrying rocks in your backpack. Each step grows heavier. Forgiveness of others, of yourself, removes weight, allowing you to walk farther. It does not erase the past, but releases its grip, freeing energy for growth. Purpose transforms resilience from survival into thriving. When you know why you endure, the how becomes easier. Reflect on your values. What matters most to you? Family, creativity, service, growth. Aligning actions with purpose gives meaning to struggle. Pain without meaning crushes. Pain with meaning strengthens. Practical tools can be integrated daily. Try resilience reframing. When faced with a setback, write it down as a story with two versions. Version A: catastrophe, hopelessness, stuckness. Version B: challenge, lesson, opportunity. Read both, then choose which story to live. This conscious reframing trains your mind to prefer empowerment over despair. Another tool: small challenges. Resilience grows like a muscle through practice. Seek out small discomforts, cold showers, learning a skill, public speaking. Each success convinces your brain, "I can handle more than I thought." Then, when larger challenges arrive, you already possess evidence of your capability. Gratitude also strengthens resilience. At first, it may seem counterintuitive. How can I be grateful in difficulty? But gratitude does not deny pain. It balances it. Write each night. One thing I learned today. One person who helped me. One small joy I noticed. These entries train your brain to see that hardship coexists with goodness, and that light shines even in shadow. Imagine two people lose their jobs. One spirals into hopelessness. "I'm worthless. I'll never recover." The other feels pain, but reframes. "This is hard, but maybe it opens space for something new." Same event, different mindset, different outcome. Resilience is not about avoiding loss. It is about choosing response. Resilient people embrace the long view. They understand that seasons change, that winter eventually becomes spring. They trust that today's setback is part of a larger arc, not the whole story. When you zoom out, difficulties shrink in proportion. What feels like a mountain today may become a hill in hindsight. Resilience also involves humor. Sometimes laughter is the best rebellion against despair. It doesn't trivialize pain, it lightens it, giving space to breathe. Even in difficult times, moments of levity remind you that joy is still possible. Picture yourself embodying resilience. Life throws a curveball. You stumble, but you do not collapse. You pause, breathe, adapt. You remind yourself of past strength. Lean on supportive people. Reframe the story, and keep moving. You are bamboo, bending but not breaking, alive and steady after storms. This is the resilient mindset, not denial, not blind optimism, but a deep trust in your ability to endure and evolve. With it, calmness and positivity cease to be fragile. They become unshakable. Kindness is deceptively powerful. It looks small from the outside, a smile, a helping hand, a gentle word. But inside, kindness carries immense force. It shifts moods, calms storms, and builds bridges where walls once stood. If calmness and positivity are goals you want to cultivate in your own life, kindness is one of the surest paths. It not only eases tension for those around you, it boomerangs back, feeding your own sense of peace and connection. Think about a time when someone was unexpectedly kind to you. Maybe a stranger held a door when your arms were full, or a colleague encouraged you when you doubted yourself. The act took seconds, yet it softened your heart and lightened your load. These moments stick because kindness breaks the ordinary pattern of self-absorption. It reminds us we are not alone, that humanity still pulses between us. Kindness also transforms physiology. Science shows that acts of kindness release oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin lowers blood pressure, reduces stress, and increases feelings of trust. Your body literally rewards you for being kind. At the same time, kindness activates regions in the brain linked with pleasure and connection, creating what researchers call a helper's high. That inner glow after doing good is not imagination. It is neurochemistry, affirming the value of compassion. But beyond science lies the practical truth. When you focus on lifting others, you shift attention away from your own ruminations. Worry shrinks, negativity loosens. Kindness becomes a tool, not just for others' benefit, but for your own calm. Start with intentional gratitude. Each day, think of one person who has influenced your life positively. It may be a teacher, a parent, a friend, or even a stranger whose words lingered. Write them a message or simply pause to appreciate them silently. Gratitude for others softens your perspective and primes you to act kindly. Then expand into random acts of kindness. Buy coffee for the person behind you in line. Leave a note of encouragement for a coworker. Compliment someone sincerely. These actions seem small, but their impact can ripple outward. Imagine a stranger receives your kindness, smiles, and carries that positivity into their next interaction. You just sparked a chain reaction you may never see. Kindness is not limited to strangers. Practice active listening with loved ones. Instead of rushing to respond, lean in, nod, reflect back their words. This simple shift tells them, "You matter. I hear you." In a world full of distractions, genuine attention is one of the rarest and kindest gifts. Forgiveness is another powerful form of kindness. Holding on to grudges drains energy and muddies your calm. Forgiveness does not mean excusing harm. It means releasing resentment so it no longer poisons you. Extending compassion, even silently, frees you both. Forgiveness is kindness at its most liberating, an act that untangles knots in your heart. Don't forget self-kindness. Many treat themselves with cruelty harsher than they would ever direct at others. They replay mistakes, magnify flaws, deny rest. But calmness cannot grow in a hostile inner climate. Speak to yourself gently. Rest when tired. Celebrate small wins. When you treat yourself kindly, you model for your mind how to treat the world. Consider creating a kindness ritual. Each morning, set the intention. Today, I will practice one act of kindness. Then carry it out. Over time, the habit reshapes your identity. You become someone who naturally seeks to uplift. And as you do, your days fill with moments of warmth that counterbalance stress. Communities thrive on kindness. A neighborhood where people greet each other feels safer and lighter than one where eyes remain downcast. Workplaces where encouragement flows foster creativity and cooperation. Families that practice kindness toward each other create resilience. You can be the spark that initiates these cultures. One metaphor captures the essence. Kindness is like a candle. When you use it to light another, your flame does not diminish, it spreads. The world grows brighter without your own light fading. In fact, your flame may even glow stronger because it now reflects in others' eyes. Practical exercises deepen this practice. Keep a kindness journal. Each evening, write one act of kindness you gave or received. Over time, the pages become evidence that goodness flows around you, even on difficult days, on low days. Reread entries. They remind you of light. Or try a kindness walk. As you move through your neighborhood, silently send good wishes to each person you see. May you be healthy. May you find peace. No one hears, but you feel the shift. Your inner world softens, radiating calm outward. Another exercise is generosity with time. Offer to mentor, to help with errands, to volunteer. Time is the most valuable resource, and giving it strengthens connection. Volunteering especially expands perspective, reminding you that others face battles too, and that service is a path to meaning. Kindness also flourishes in conflict, instead of retaliating harshly. Pause. Ask yourself, how can I respond with compassion while still being firm? This does not mean being passive. It means choosing strength without cruelty. Even in disagreement, kindness maintains dignity. Remember, kindness is not always easy. Some days you feel drained, impatient, or unappreciated. Yet those are the days when kindness matters most. Offering a smile when you don't feel like it often lifts your own mood. Giving when you feel empty paradoxically replenishes. The act itself creates energy. Over time, kindness changes how you see the world. Instead of scanning for threats or slights, you start noticing opportunities to give. Life becomes less about competition and more about connection. This shift itself fosters calm, because fear shrinks when love expands. Imagine the ripple. You choose kindness today. Someone else, touched, chooses it tomorrow. It spreads into homes, workplaces, communities. Entire cultures shift, not through grand speeches, but through countless small gestures. The calm and positivity you cultivate in yourself begin to radiate outward, reshaping the environment. Kindness is not weakness. It requires courage to remain soft in a hard world, to forgive when resentment beckons, to give without guarantee of return. That courage transforms not just your relationships, but your inner state. In giving kindness, you claim peace. Picture yourself living this way. Each day holds at least one act of kindness. You greet the cashier warmly. You text encouragement to a friend. You offer patience to yourself. Stress still arises, but your heart feels lighter. Calm is no longer fragile. It is reinforced by compassion. Positivity is no longer a mood. It is a practice embodied in action. This is the quiet revolution of kindness. It does not demand applause. It does not trend on headlines, but it accumulates day by day until your life feels different, softer, warmer, more whole. And as your life changes, so does the world around you. You carry more than you realize, not just the bags slung over your shoulders or the tasks waiting on your list, but invisible weights, regrets from yesterday, fears about tomorrow, grudges against others, expectations of perfection. Each weight slows you, pulls at your spirit, makes the climb toward calmness feel exhausting. To stay truly positive and free, you must learn the art of letting go. Letting go is often misunderstood. Some think it means giving up, ignoring problems, or pretending not to care. But letting go is none of these. It is not indifference, it is release. It is choosing not to drag the past into the present, not to clutch outcomes beyond your control, not to grip so tightly that you bleed. Letting go is strength, because it means trusting yourself to move forward without needing to clutch every detail. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents something: an old insult, a broken promise, a mistake you replay endlessly, a future fear you can't control. At first, the weight seems manageable, but as days and months pass, your shoulders ache, your steps slow. The journey feels unbearable. Letting go is not discarding the whole backpack. It is opening it, examining each stone, and deciding which no longer belongs, one by one. You set them down. With each release, you walk lighter. The first step is awareness. Ask yourself, what am I still holding that drains me? It could be an old relationship that ended badly. It could be guilt for something you did years ago. It could be anger at someone who never apologized. It could even be perfectionist standards you've placed on yourself. Write them down. Naming the stones brings them into view. Next comes acceptance. Letting go does not mean pretending the stone never existed. It means acknowledging reality without resistance. This event happened. That person acted that way. I made that mistake. Radical acceptance says, I may not like it, but I no longer fight the truth of it. Paradoxically, the moment you stop wrestling reality, peace enters. Practical rituals help. Try the release ritual. Write down everything you want to let go of, resentments, regrets, fears, on slips of paper. Then, in a safe way, destroy them, burn them, tear them, or release them into water. As you do, visualize those weights leaving your body and mind. The physical act signals your psyche. This no longer owns me. Letting go also involves loosening your grip on outcomes. You can control effort, but not results. You may prepare thoroughly for an interview, but you cannot control the decision. You may love fully in a relationship, but you cannot dictate how the other person feels. You may care for your health, but you cannot guarantee perfect safety. When you tie your peace to results, you set yourself up for disappointment. Letting go means anchoring peace in effort, not outcome. One practice is the mantra, I release what I cannot control. Repeat it when anxiety rises. Breathe in, say, I release. Breathe out, say what I cannot control. The rhythm trains your nervous system to associate exhalation with freedom. Forgiveness is another deep layer. Anger and resentment feel justified, but they burn most fiercely inside the one who carries them. Forgiveness is not excusing harm. It is freeing yourself from chains. Picture yourself holding a rope in a tug of war with the person who hurt you. The rope burns your hands, but you refuse to let go. Forgiveness is dropping the rope. The struggle ends, not because the other changed, but because you chose peace over pain. Self-forgiveness may be hardest. Many carry shame for past mistakes, whispering, "I should have known better." But growth means you did not know then what you know now. Beating yourself up forever keeps you frozen. Letting go means saying, "I made that mistake. I learned, and I release the punishment." Imagine speaking to yourself as you would to a child who stumbled, firm but kind, guiding but gentle. Perfectionism also demands release. You will not always say the right words, make the right choices, or achieve flawless results. Chasing perfection is like chasing the horizon. You never arrive. Letting go means embracing imperfection as proof of being human. Each mistake is not evidence of failure, but a doorway to growth. Use visualization to strengthen this process. Picture the things you cling to as objects: a rock, a balloon, a dark cloud. See yourself setting the rock down, releasing the balloon into the sky, watching the cloud dissolve. The mind responds powerfully to imagery, and symbolic release eases emotional grip. Letting go is ongoing, not one time. You may release anger today, only for it to return tomorrow. That is normal. Letting go is practice, like meditation. Each time the thought returns, remind yourself, "I've chosen to release this." Gently redirect attention, again and again. Over time, the grip weakens. Consider also the link between letting go and presence. Anxiety thrives in clinging, holding the past, grasping the future. Calmness blooms in now. When you let go of yesterday's weight and tomorrow's worry, you discover the freedom of this moment. Presence is the gift that letting go delivers. Relationships illustrate this well. Trying to control others breeds conflict. Letting go of control allows genuine connection. You cannot script another's choices, but you can choose your response. Love becomes lighter when it is not shackled by control. Even in grief, letting go plays a role. Loss leaves empty spaces, and clinging to what was can deepen pain. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means holding memories with tenderness, but allowing life to continue flowing. The river carries you forward, whether you resist or not. Releasing resistance allows you to float rather than drown. Another metaphor. Imagine grasping sand in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. But if you open your palm, the grains rest gently. Life is like that. Grip too tightly, and peace slips away. Loosen, and calm remains. Practical micro-steps help. Unfollow accounts that trigger negativity. Donate clothes you never wear. Say no to commitments that no longer align. Physical decluttering mirrors emotional release. Each item let go becomes practice for larger emotional releases. Letting go is not weakness. It is courage to trust life's flow. It is wisdom to know what is yours and what is not. It is compassion to free yourself from burdens that no longer serve. Picture yourself practicing it. You set down regrets one by one. You stop fighting yesterday. You breathe easier, because tomorrow no longer owns today. You forgive yourself. You forgive others. You embrace imperfection. Your steps feel lighter, your heart freer. Calm is no longer elusive. It is accessible. Positivity is no longer fragile. It is sustained by freedom. This is the power of letting go. Not an ending, but a beginning. Not loss, but liberation. We live in a world of speed. Messages travel across continents in seconds. Meals arrive in minutes. Entertainment streams instantly. Somewhere along the way, patience, once a respected strength, became almost obsolete. Yet without patience, calmness cracks under pressure, and positivity withers when results don't come fast enough. To cultivate peace and resilience, you must rediscover patience as a quiet but powerful strength. Patience is not passive waiting. It is not sitting idly, resigned to stagnation. Patience is active. It is choosing composure instead of agitation, trust instead of fear, and perspective instead of short-sightedness. It is a discipline of the mind and heart, reminding you that growth takes time, healing takes time, and worthwhile goals rarely arrive overnight. Think of a seed planted in soil. You water it, nurture it, protect it. But no matter how much you push, you cannot make it sprout in a day. Impatience would have you dig it up, checking if roots are growing. Patience knows to wait, to trust the unseen process beneath the soil. Eventually, green shoots emerge. Life unfolds at its own rhythm. Where does impatience show up in your life? Traffic jams, long lines, career progress slower than you hoped, healing from heartbreak, learning a skill. Each trigger feels like sandpaper, rubbing away calm. But patience is not about erasing the triggers. It is about transforming your response. Begin with awareness. The next time impatience rises, pause. Notice your body. Tense shoulders, shallow breath, restless tapping. Name it. I feel impatient. Naming softens its grip. Then, breathe slowly. Inhale. I am calm. Exhale. I release impatience. Even 3 breaths can reset your nervous system. Perspective is another tool. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, a year? Often, the delay or inconvenience shrinks under the lens of time. What felt urgent a moment ago becomes trivial when seen in the larger arc. But patience is not only about minor irritations. It is vital in long-term pursuits. Learning a language, building a business, deepening a relationship, all require sustained effort over time. Impatience whispers, "It's not working. Give up." Patience answers, "Progress is slow, but steady. Keep going." This difference decides whether you quit or persist long enough to succeed. Self-compassion ties closely to patience. Many beat themselves up for not improving quickly enough. They demand instant mastery, forgetting that learning curves are natural. Patience with yourself means honoring the pace of growth. You don't berate a child for stumbling while learning to walk. Why berate yourself for stumbling while learning to live? Another metaphor. Patience is like tending a fire. Too much wood thrown at once smothers it. Too little attention, and it dies. But steady fuel, steady breath, steady time. This sustains warmth. Your dreams, healing, and growth are fires. Patience keeps them alive without rush or neglect. Practical exercises help. Try delayed gratification. Choose one habit where you postpone immediate reward. Instead of scrolling your phone, spend 10 minutes journaling first. Instead of eating dessert instantly, wait 15 minutes. These small practices train your brain to resist impulse and strengthen patience muscles. Practice also in relationships. When someone frustrates you, instead of reacting sharply, pause. Listen fully. Ask questions. Remember, every person has their own pace of growth. Patience with others creates trust, deeper bonds, and calmer interactions. Patience is equally crucial in healing, whether from illness, loss, or emotional wounds. Recovery rarely follows your preferred timeline. Impatience says, "I should be over this by now." Patience says, "Healing takes time," and that's okay. By accepting the rhythm of recovery, you remove unnecessary pressure and allow genuine restoration. Visualization strengthens patience. Imagine yourself as a mountain. Seasons change around you, storms, sunshine, snow, but you remain steady, unmoved. Each time impatience tugs, recall the mountain. You are solid, grounded, enduring. Gratitude also nurtures patience. Instead of focusing on what hasn't arrived, appreciate what already exists. Gratitude shifts attention from absence to presence, easing the restless urge for more. Write each day. One thing I'm thankful for right now. This simple act roots you in the present instead of rushing toward the future. Stories help too. Think of inventors who failed dozens of times before success, or artists who spent years refining craft, or relationships that deepened slowly over decades. Their achievements became possible not through instant results, but through patience. Their calm persistence is proof that waiting with intention creates beauty. Of course, patience doesn't mean tolerating injustice or never taking action. It is not passivity in the face of harm. Patience is knowing when to act and when to wait. It is responding thoughtfully rather than impulsively. It is choosing timing wisely instead of forcing outcomes prematurely. Humor can be a secret ally. Sometimes, when impatience builds, laughing at the absurdity of your frustration breaks the tension. You're stuck in traffic. What if this is the universe's way of insisting you listen to that podcast you've been avoiding? Shifting the frame can make waiting bearable, even playful. Imagine yourself embodying patience. You sit in traffic, breathing calmly. You pursue goals steadily, without panic over pace. You treat yourself gently, trusting growth. You respond to others with compassion, not irritation. Your life feels less rushed, more grounded. Calm and positivity grow naturally because impatience no longer drains you. Patience is not weakness. It is courage to resist the pressure of instant gratification. It is wisdom to trust timing. It is strength to remain calm while others rush. This is the quiet power of patience. It does not shout. It waits. And in its waiting, it cultivates peace, resilience, and joy. Your mind is more powerful than you give it credit for. It shapes your perception of reality, colors your emotions, and influences the choices you make each day. Harnessed with intention, your imagination becomes a tool for calmness and positivity. Coupled with reflection, it turns each day into both a classroom and a sanctuary. Together, visualization and reflection form a practice that not only steadies you in the moment, but also directs the course of your future. Visualization is more than daydreaming. It is the deliberate act of creating vivid mental images of desired states or outcomes. Athletes use it before competitions. Speakers use it before stepping onto stage. You can use it to cultivate peace and positivity in daily life. When you visualize, your brain activates many of the same neural pathways as when you actually experience the event. In other words, the mind rehearses reality before reality unfolds. Begin with simple calmness visualization. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and picture a place that evokes serenity. It might be a quiet forest, waves rolling on a beach, or a sunlit room. Engage all senses. Hear the rustle of leaves, feel the warmth of sunlight, smell the salt in the air. This becomes your inner sanctuary. Each time stress arises, return to this image. The mind cannot hold chaos and tranquility simultaneously. By choosing the image, you invite calm. Positivity visualization works differently. Instead of imagining environments, Imagine outcomes. See yourself succeeding in a challenge, speaking with confidence, handling conflict gracefully. Notice your posture, tone, and steady breath. The more vividly you rehearse, the more your mind believes it possible. This belief translates into action, making positivity not just a feeling, but a lived reality. Layer in affirmations. As you visualize, repeat statements that align with your vision. I am calm and capable. I radiate positivity. I grow stronger each day. These phrases anchor the images, reinforcing them neurologically. Visualization also works for letting go. Picture your stress as a dark balloon in your hand. Now release it into the sky, watching it shrink until it disappears. Or imagine worries as pebbles tossed into a river, carried away by the current. Symbolic imagery communicates with your subconscious more effectively than logic alone, making release easier. Yet visualization alone is incomplete. Without reflection, you risk floating in dreams without grounding in reality. Reflection is the practice of examining experiences, extracting lessons, and integrating them. It turns each day into a teacher. Daily reflection does not require hours. A few minutes suffice. Ask 3 questions. What went well today? What challenged me? What did I learn? Writing answers in a journal anchors insights. Over weeks, patterns emerge. You see strengths repeated, mistakes lessened, resilience growing. Reflection also nurtures gratitude. By listing daily blessings, moments of laughter, acts of kindness, small comforts, you train your brain to notice positivity automatically. This subtle shift reduces negativity bias, the tendency to focus on problems. Calmness grows because your attention is balanced. One powerful reflection method is the 3 wins exercise. Each evening, write down 3 specific wins. They need not be grand: sending a difficult email, resisting irritation, enjoying a walk. Over time, the journal becomes a catalog of progress. On tough days, rereading reminds you that you are advancing even when it feels slow. Combine reflection with visualization through future self-scripting. Write a letter from your future self, 1 year ahead, back to you. Describe how you overcame current struggles, how you live with calm and positivity, what wisdom you gained. This exercise merges imagination and reflection, creating motivation rooted in vision. Mindfulness enriches both practices. While reflecting, notice emotions without judgment. While visualizing, ground yourself in breath to prevent drifting into distraction. Presence turns both into meditations rather than mental wanderings. Practical integration helps. Pair visualization with mornings. Before the day begins, close your eyes. Picture your calm sanctuary. Then envision handling the day's tasks with grace. Pair reflection with evenings. After tasks end, write lessons and gratitude. The 2 together form bookends: morning direction and evening integration. One metaphor illustrates the partnership. Visualization is like drawing a map of where you want to go. Reflection is like reviewing the journey you already walked. One points forward, the other backward. Together, they ensure you neither wander aimlessly nor repeat mistakes blindly. Stories highlight their power. Picture a young student terrified of public speaking. Each morning, he visualizes stepping confidently onto stage, smiling, speaking clearly. Each evening, he reflects on small progress made, even in conversations. Over months, confidence grows, or imagine someone healing from grief. She visualizes releasing pain into a river, then reflects nightly on moments of strength she displayed. Slowly, she rediscovers calm. The beauty of these practices lies in accessibility. They require no special equipment, only willingness. You can visualize on a train, reflect while sipping tea, or practice both before sleep. They adapt to your life's rhythms. Over time, visualization and reflection transform identity. You stop seeing yourself as a passive reactor to circumstances. Instead, you view yourself as an intentional creator of responses and perspectives. Calmness becomes less fragile because you regularly rehearse it. Positivity becomes less dependent on events because you repeatedly affirm and record it. Consider adding layers. Visualize not only individual calm, but collective calm. Picture your family, workplace, or community interacting with kindness and ease. Reflection then asks, what did I contribute today toward this vision? This merges personal growth with social impact, expanding positivity outward. Both visualization and reflection also deepen resilience. When setbacks come, you have rehearsed calm responses through visualization. When doubt creeps in, your reflection journals remind you of past wins. Together, they provide tools for present storms and confidence for future challenges. Imagine your life 1 year from now, with these practices embedded. Each morning begins with vision. Each night closes with reflection. Stress arises, but you return to your sanctuary image. Goals feel distant, but your journal reminds you of steady steps. Calmness becomes your default, positivity your lens. This is the strength of visualization and reflection. One guides, the other grounds. Together, they weave calmness and positivity into the fabric of your days. You have walked a long path, from storm and chaos to calm and light. You've explored the landscapes of letting go, gratitude, emotional resets, energy, resilience, kindness, patience, visualization, and reflection. Each section has given you tools, not as distant ideals, but as practices you can carry into ordinary days. The lesson beneath them all is simple yet profound. Calmness and positivity are not accidents. They are choices, skills, and habits, cultivated steadily, lived daily. As you pause now, imagine your own life unfolding with this foundation. Storms will still come, challenges will still knock, but you are no longer fragile in their presence. You know how to breathe, how to reframe, how to forgive, how to let go. You have learned to protect your energy, nurture your inner voice, and open yourself to the strength of patience. You are equipped not just to endure, but to thrive. Let this closing moment be soft, spacious. Breathe slowly. Feel the steadiness in your body. Trust that every practice, every exercise, every reflection you choose is a seed. Seeds grow quietly, unseen at first, but they do grow. Your calmness will deepen, your positivity will expand, and the ripple of your journey will touch others in ways you may never fully know. The best is yet to come. Carry these tools gently but firmly, like lanterns guiding you forward. Choose calm when chaos calls. Choose kindness when anger beckons. Choose patience when haste tempts. In those choices lies transformation. This is not the end of a book. It is the beginning of a practice, a way of living that honors your peace and magnifies your joy. You have everything you need within you. Step forward. Live it.